Hi all, welcome to part 11. Once again Sunil here from 3D Archestypes, and in part 11 and material phase 3 we will go ahead and tweak all the materials to make them realistic, as much realistic as possible, and we will see if any object has been left out, and if some object, like see these objects, we didn't give any material. We will give the materials on them, and we gave a white material before the light bake, so that the bouncing of the light in the world will be as good as possible. And then, like this material, this is not rotated. We will rotate this, and we will just go ahead and give the detailing, or we will optimize the materials. Optimize material means we will give a reflection, glossiness, bumps, and all those things, normals. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I will go ahead on the floor object, and then I will just click this reset to default, and then we will have that wooden texture. And as I can say, wooden texture doesn't have any reflection and glossiness. What I will do is I will just go ahead is open that material, and then I will use press 1 on keyboard and then left click in the viewport in the material editor, and then I will create a one constant vector. You can see here constant 1, and then I will put this constant 1 on a specular and then on roughness, and then I will make this value to 0.2 maybe. First of all, we'll just give the values, and then we will see how we can tweak them. And now this texture doesn't have any normal, and to make the normals, what I generally do is I just go on Photoshop. I will start Photoshop, and then I will start Quixel, Quixel, Quixel shoot. Now once Quixel suit is on, what I will do is I will just go inside Unreal Engine, and I will search this texture, and I will copy the name of this texture, and then again I will go in Photoshop. I will press Ctrl O to open, and then I will go in D drive, tutorial, and then 3D Studio Max, and then I will paste that name here. And as I can see this, I can find that name here. I will open it, and then I will go to undo, and in undo what I will do, I will just click this button, the default button. This is the process how I create normal of my texture, and I try to make normal as much as possible, but it's not mandatory that I will make the normal of every texture, but I just figure out by myself what I have to do and what I don't have to do. So I will just lower the amount of this normal, and then I will go ahead and save as, and then I will just put _n, and then I will save it. And then again I will go inside Unreal Engine, and then I will right click, import, and then D drive, tutorials, 3D Studio Max, and then I will arrange by date. And then if I make it arrange by date, then automatically I can see that texture which I exported the last time on the top of the order. So I will just click open, and once it has been imported, I will just drag and drop inside the material editor, and then I will put this on normal, and I will just see how it's looking. And I think it's looking quite nice, so let's apply it. And once I have applied the texture on this normal texture, I will just make sure that it's looking perfect by going in the viewport and seeing it, from every angle and making sure that it's look nice and accurate, the normal amount. So as of now I am quite bit satisfied, and I may tweak it later. So in third phase, what I do is I just apply roughness, glossiness and normal on every texture possible. And once I have applied all those things, then again I just tweak them to the right amount possible. So in third phase, the first thing I do is I just give normal, reflection, glossiness on all the available materials of the whole scene. And once I have done that, then after that I just come to all the materials one by one, and I just make sure that every amount of normal, roughness and glossiness I have given, they are up to the best possible amount. They are not too much or they are not too less, and all those things. Further tweaking, you can say it's further tweaking. So let's start from the here. So I can see that let's go ahead and then give a reflection on this, and I will give reflection 0.25 here, and then apply. As I have learned somewhere that every object in this world have glossiness and reflections, some amount of reflection and glossiness. So just try to give some amount of reflection and glossiness to every object of your scene, but make sure they are at the right amount. I think you understand what I mean. That means try to give reflection and glossiness on all the objects of the scene, because in real world every object in the scene or every object has its reflection and glossiness to some amount, but it depends on the properties of the material. So you should be careful on that regard. You should just not give too much or too less. You should be very careful about the amount. So and I just try to give reflection and glossiness on my walls also. So I will give a reflection and glossiness on my wall, and I will make the value to 0.45 and then apply. And then on wall, what I generally do is I give a what you say, noise texture on the normal, that I will show you. I will just go inside Unreal Engine content browser, and I will import it, and then Dropbox, and then textures, and then this wall noise. I'll just import this, and then I will drag and drop it, and then I will put it on this normal, and I will just go ahead and then I will see. This, and I think it's too big, so I will just right click COO texture coordinate, and then I will use it, and then I will make it 3 and 3, and then apply. Three and 3 is a bit too much, so let's make it 2 and 2. I will cut this, and I will not apply it on the base. I will make a normal wall texture. That is, I will just select this. I will search this in content browser, and then I will press Ctrl W, and then I will rename it walls 01, and then I will apply this walls 01, and then I will open it, and then I will paste that thing, and then I will apply normal. And to know that for time being, I will just make this texture to red color, so that I can figure out that this material has been applied on all the places where I want them to be applied, so that I'll not be getting confused. And once I have applied on all the walls, and I'm sure that they have been applied, I will change the color to white again. So I will just show you what I meant. So now I have applied that wall material on all the walls, and I'm sure that because of this red color, I'm sure that nothing is left, no object which should be of wall texture and it's left. So after that, what I will do is I will just go ahead inside this, and then I will again change this color to white. Now you can see that there is a noise on the wall, and I think I should just I'll just say search post process volume and increase the exposure a bit more. So I will increase the exposure to maybe 1, and then I will go ahead and then do the texturing, and then I should, so this object already reflection glossiness is there, and this is optimization of this. I am optimizing, and what I will do is this material should be a glowing material. So what I will do is I will just go in metal this place, and I already know that I have a bulb material created, and then I will just select that mesh, and then I will go inside light mask setting, and then I will use emissive for a static mesh. So you see, use emissive for a static lighting. I will switch it on, and I will apply a glue bulb material, and this glue bulb material is simple normal material with white color and a multiply, and that white color has been put on the base color and on this emissive color, and the object which is supposed to emit the light from this light material, that there is a option use emissive for static lighting, a static mesh or a static lighting, and I have switched it on. So now if I build the light, then this object will emit the light, but for that I will have to make sure that this amount of multiply amount, that means the amount of it will emit the light should be at least 8 to 12 generally, in real world or in on all the projects I have worked and used these types of techniques and these things. I always tend to the value between 8 to 12 and maybe 14 always tends to work. So I generally started from 8 intensity, and 8 intensity, this amount, the amount of light that will be emitted from this object once the light build is done. So I'll just go ahead and then optimize all those, and then 2.25 I will make it 0.2, and as I can see I need to make this metal a bit darker, so I will go ahead and make it a bit dark. So now you can see it's quite dark. Then I will go ahead and then give reflection and glossiness on this material also. In optimization of the material or improvements of the material, generally I do 3 things. I give specular, I give roughness, and I give normal if required. If I feel like that this material should be having normal, then I give the normal on it, and this is the part that I say as optimization. And then I just go ahead and I just make sure that the amount of reflection and the glossiness is quite good. Now I will go ahead and give the reflection glossiness on this material also 0.25, and I will see how it goes from here. So it seems a bit more, but Let's first let's make a normal of it, normal material of this, because sometime after we make a normal of it, it starts looking okay. So what I did is to make the normal of it. So to complete this material, I just went inside material, and I then gave a reflection and then roughness, and then sorry, a specular and then roughness on this material, and I want to give a bump material or normal material on this. For that, what I did is I selected the texture, I searched the texture inside content browser, I copied the name of that texture, and then I went inside Photoshop, and then I pressed Ctrl O, and then Ctrl O I just went to the place where all the material, all the texture I have saved or I have imported from, all the texture that I have imported here. I just went inside that place. Just go ahead and search where you have placed all the texture. Then I Control V, then I can find that material texture very easily. And then again, once I find and open in Photoshop, and I have already have my pixel suit open, then I will click here on the normal in undo, and then I will just and in undo, one more thing I will like to tell you all is this size amount 2 and then depth. Always try to keep this size to 2 and then depth from 200 to maybe 500 depending on the amount of normal intensity you want. So if you want to less, you want less normal, then make it 200. If you want to increase it, make it 300. You want to increase further, make it 400, make it 500. Almost 7 to 8 times of 8 times I want to make a normal. This value of size 2 and depth between 200 to 500 works for me. I'm not telling you that this is the way you have to do, but if you do like this, that size is 2 and the depth is, you started from 200 and you feel like that this amount is less, increase it to 300 this depth. If you want even more, increase it to 400, 500, 600. Just go on incrementally, but make sure the time you are making the normal, you make it perfect at that time only, because if you want to come back again and then it's quite tedious time, you have to make the normal again. So it's advisable that the time you are making normal, you just try to make it as perfect as possible. So go ahead and save this with the settings of maybe 300, and then I will save as, and then I will save as _n, and you can save in PSD works very well inside Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine can import PSD as a normal or JPEG, everything, anything, so not a big deal. So I just save normal map in PSD format because I don't encounter any issue with that. So I just imported that normal texture and then I had applied it. See, so my basic procedure of texture and texture material is so simple and so innovative. It's simple, but it looks so realistic. I don't know why. So now if you feel like that normal is quite less, then go inside Photoshop and then increase this depth to maybe 500 or 600, 500. Files, save as, and replace on it, and then go inside here and then right click and then re-import. So now I can see that this normal is quite nice. So I think I should let's increase this value to 5. File, save as. Use this Quixel Suite to optimize your normals. It's awesome tool. Yeah, now I think the normal is looking quite nice. And now if you feel like that the reflection glossiness is too much and you want to decrease it, just go ahead and make it 0.3 and decrease the reflection and glossiness, or maybe the specular and roughness. So now I think as of now it's okay. And now you can see that this texture is rotated. For these types of thing, what you have to do is just select the texture and then right click, custom rotator, and then go ahead, put it on UV map, and then COO, texture coordinate, and then UVs, and then vector 2, apply it on the second channel, make it 0.5, 0.5, and then vector 1, make it 0.25. 0.25 means you rotated it at 90 degree, and if you make it 0.5, you rotated it 180 degree. So just remember that. And now you can see that the texture has been rotated, but it's flipped. So now what will go is, I will just go ahead, so I'll just go ahead and put a minus here and then apply, and now you can see that this texture has been rotated properly. And just go ahead and in this material and give reflection and glossiness as always, roughness and reflection, and I want to use specular and roughness, and make it 0.25. The secret of my material, I always give a specular and roughness, and no matter what, I just give roughness and a specular to all my objects to make them realistic. And if I feel like that I should give normal, then I give normal on that also. So I'll go ahead and search for a glass material, and then I will apply that glass material here, and then I will go ahead inside max and then camera, and then I will select the material, go ahead, select polygon, and then hide selected, then hide selected, sorry, and just go ahead and then select this element and select 2, and 2 means this texture has been applied on it. So I will go ahead and then copy the name of the texture, and then in content browser I will paste it, and I will create a material out of it, and then I will just so now as you can see, I'll just go ahead and make sure everything is okay, perfect here. I'll close all these tabs, Control Shift S, I'm just showing you all how you can do the material step by step. First apply all the texture that has been used inside Max, and then apply all the metallic type of objects, and then switches types and all those which doesn't require any texture. Just apply all those materials, and after that tweak all the materials. Tweaking all the materials means apply specular roughness and then normal on all the objects of materials of all the objects. And after that, once you have done that, then you will tweak them even for that to make it as accurate as possible in terms of their values. That means that there should not be too much, that should not be less, and all those things. You should just give a artistic eye on those, and then make sure that everything looks perfect. So I think I should you give this texture on this TV. So now I will go ahead and then make sure that everything has some amount of specular, and I think we should make a normal of this material. So what I will do is I will just select this texture and then search it in content browser, and then copy it, and then in Photoshop I will press Ctrl O, and I already at the place where all the textures are. Okay, we already have this texture made for this object, so let's utilize them. So come inside here and then paste here. Oops, I don't have it. Okay, right click, import, and then Ctrl V, and then import this texture. Now you can see, as you can see, it's okay. And I will close all this. .35 will be okay for this object. It's okay. So almost all the objects in this area, I select this material, and then I will right click, instance material, and then I will apply it, and decrease the color of it a bit. And just seeing that reflection and glossiness has been applied on the textures. So all the materials in this area have been tweaked. Let's work on this material, and then just go ahead and 0.25. I think it will be okay. Yeah, and I think we should make a texture, normal texture of this texture. So I just went ahead and copied the name of it. Photoshop, press Ctrl O, and then paste the name of the texture here. Color, open it, and then click on the Nendo, and then decrease the value to 2, and then depth to maybe 250, and then file, and then save as, and then underscore n, and then go inside Unreal Engine, import it, and then paste here, and go ahead, put that normal texture. I pressed Alt 5 to see the amount of normal in detailed lighting, and I think it's okay. Now I will go ahead and give some reflection and glossiness on this. beans 0.3 maybe, and then I will select the name of this texture, copy it, and then in Photoshop Ctrl O, then paste, and then I will select this, make a normal of it, file, save as, and then normal, save, and then in here right click, import, and then paste. I think it's looking quite enough or decent or nice as of now. Let's go ahead and let's see what's going on this object, why it's rendering white. So I will just go ahead here inside 3D Studio Max, and then I'll hide this object, and I will give a UV map on this box 100, 100, and then I will stream roll, right click, import, traditional, sort by date, modified, and make sure 1509 it's 1509, and then yes to all, Control H, and then I will give a reflection glossiness on this object material, .25. I think 0.25 is too much for this, so let's make it 0.35. Yeah, 0.35 is quite nice. And let's give material reflection on this, so let's give a specular, and then roughness 0.25. And on this also let's give some reflection and specular. Whenever I say specular, that means I mean a roughness. So please pardon me on that regard. I have worked in 3D Studio Max for several years, so it has been embedded in my nature or in my mind, and in Unreal Engine only 4 years, so it's very hard and difficult for me to change my habit. So on this material, what I will do is I will use a LURP, that is press L and then LURP, and then I will make base color, and then I will use 3, and then here, and then I will increase this to 0.85. Oops, and then I will make it color white, and then I will use some specular and then roughness 0.35 maybe, and then I will make a bump of this cloth. Okay, we already have normal of that cloth, so let's put that normal and then apply. So I think this one is better. I think I should use COO, that is cost texture coordinate. on this and on this, and I should make it 4 and 4. Yes, nice, nice, absolutely nice. Yes, perfect. So let's go ahead and then give some specular and roughness on this object also, material also. We got a specular, then roughness, and then value to 0.25. See all the settings that I have made in post process, the amount of light I have given, and all those settings does tends to work from 0.25 to 0.35 on all the objects material. It's up to you that how you can manage to keep a balance between from 0.25 to 0.35 and make the and keep the amount of reflection and roughness specular and roughness on all the objects. So to make this object a metallic color, what I will do is I will just go ahead and apply specular and then roughness, and then I will give the value of 0.25 on also this one also, and then I will use a LARP A, and then I will make B, and then I will just take a texture, and then I will make use 1 and then metallic and make it 1, and then apply, and I will 0.85. So I will decrease the reflection to 0.35, and then color also I will increase a bit. I think I want to use this as the same. In white color it's looking even better. Just give a bit more reflection on this, 0.2 maybe. Yeah, this is looking even better. Yes. So almost all the objects in this area. Increase this value. Okay, we'll leave this value to as of now, and then I think everything, almost every object material has been optimized in this area almost. So let's go on the second area. So let's start from here. We will go ahead and then as always we will apply a specular and then roughness, and value will be 0.25 first in the first attempt, and then go ahead and then apply a specular and then roughness, then 0.25. Just go ahead and see. Okay, reflection is too much, so I'll make it 0.35 and then 0.35 and apply, then apply. So I will go ahead and make a normal of this texture. So copy fabric and then Photoshop, Control O, and then paste. Oops, we already have a normal of it, so it's a good sign for us. Control V. Don't have it. Right click, import, and then D-Trap, tutorial, 3D Studio Max, and then paste. Import it. I don't think this is the texture of it. Let's control. Let's copy this texture, paste, open it, and let's make a normal ourselves. So I think it's too much big, so let's make it 40 and then 40, then apply. Eighty. 40 is quite enough as of now. So I think the phase 2 of material optimization has been done, and once it's done, what I will do is I will just once again build the light, and we will close our tutorial here, and I will meet you all in the next tutorial from this, from where we will go ahead and further and go to the next step. So our in the whole material phase, we had phase 1 where we applied all the texture on all the objects, and all the texture that were applied and used as a material inside Max. And then in phase 2 we applied all those other types of material which didn't had any texture, and we have to make by themselves, like switch material, like wall material, and like metal material. And we saw how we can use automotive material pack from our Epic launcher or marketplace, and you can use them, and they are freaking amazing material sets. And I recommend everyone to make use of that automotive material set in your architectural visualization project. And after that, after we did that, we came to phase 3 of the material. In phase 3 of the material, we give roughness, we give specular, and then we give normal, and we gave the value so appropriate to make them appropriate. And after that, our material phase 3 also done. And as you can see, the material section of this project has been completed, absolutely done. And uh, every object in this project has its own material now, and all the materials have appropriate normals, and then reflection, and then specular, and all those things. And as of now, what I will say is the material of this project has been completed. And in the next tutorial, I will go ahead and proceed further to complete this project. So before I meet you all in the next tutorial or next part of this tutorial, everyone just have fun and enjoy.